There is a moment, you know. The typing bubble appears, then disappears, then nothing. Or you find out everyone was invited. Everyone except you. Or you walk into a room and feel the temperature drop just slightly. Just enough. And in that moment, something happens inside your body that no amount of logic can stop. Your chest caves. Your throat tightens. And somewhere in the silence, a voice whispers the question that has probably followed you your whole life. What is wrong with me? I am going to answer that question right now, not with reassurance, not with a motivational speech, with the actual scientific biological answer that nobody ever gave you. And by the time this ends, I promise you will never hear that question the same way again. 50,000 years ago, you are moving across open grassland in East Africa with your band. 30 to 50 people, you know every face. You have known them your entire life. Your mother is here. The elder who taught you to hunt is here. The woman who stayed through your fever is here. These are not your friends in the modern sense. These people are your food, your shelter, your medicine. Your only reason you are still alive? A human alone in that world did not last days. They lasted hours. No one to hunt with. No one to watch for predators while you slept. No one to carry you when your leg gave out. No one who even noticed you were gone until it was already over. The group was not something your ancestors valued. It was something they needed the way they needed oxygen, with the same raw biological desperation. But here is the problem your brain had to solve. How do you make absolutely certain a human being never drifts too far from the one thing keeping them alive? It did not use fear. Fear fades. It did not use hunger. Hunger can be pushed through. It used the one thing in human experience that cannot be rationalized away. It built pain, real neurological pain. The same kind that makes you pull your hand from an open flame? In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA sat volunteers inside brain scanners and had them play a simple ball-tossing game with two other players on screen. Then the other players stopped passing to them. No confrontation, no explanation, just quiet exclusion from a video game. The brain scans made the scientific world go silent. The anterior cingulate cortex lit up, the exact region that fires when you break a bone. When you feel genuine physical agony, it fired with identical intensity in response to being left out of a game with strangers. Eisenberger published in Science magazine. The conclusion was not metaphor. When you say rejection hurts, you are not being dramatic. You are being medically precise. Your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between a broken rib and a broken social bond. It treats both as emergencies requiring immediate action, because for 300,000 years they carried the same consequence: death. But here is the part nobody tells you. Your ancestors did not just suffer rejection, they weaponized it. They built the most sophisticated social system the world has ever seen, using nothing but the fear of being left out. And understanding how it worked changes everything about why you feel what you feel. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent decades studying the last hunter-gatherer societies on Earth. The Kungsan, the Hadza, the Yuhuansi. What he found inside those communities was the opposite of what most people expect. Ancient tribes were not brutal hierarchies ruled by the strongest. They were fiercely egalitarian. Nobody was allowed to hoard. Nobody was allowed to dominate. And when someone violated that, the group did not use violence. It used rejection, delivered in 4 escalating stages that almost nobody ever needed to reach the end of. Stage 1 was teasing. Public, pointed, unavoidable. The message was clear without a single direct confrontation. You are out of alignment. Come back. Stage 2 was ridicule, more sustained. The transgression became a shared story everyone told. If you have ever been the subject of that kind of communal mockery, you already know how it feels, because you have felt it. In school, at work, online. The technology changes. The mechanism is identical? Stage 3 was shunning. The conversations that stop when you enter. The plans made without you. The invisible wall between you and the warmth that used to be there. This is the stage that breaks people. Not because it is aggressive, because it is simply absence. An absence where connection used to live is one of the most devastating things a human nervous system can experience. Stage 4 was exile. Formal removal from the band. In the ancient world, this was not a social consequence. It was a death sentence as final as any execution. And Boehm found that across every culture, every continent, every era of human history, almost no one ever let it reach stage 4, because the fear of that final stage quietly governed every decision every person made from the moment they woke up. What do I need to do today so these people still want me here tomorrow? That question is still running inside you, right now, this second, whether you know it or not. Therefore, here is the sentence that changes everything you thought you knew about yourself. That fear did not retire when we built cities. It did not dissolve when we invented safety nets and laws and social media. Evolution works across hundreds of thousands of years, not decades. Your nervous system is still running the exact software that kept your ancestors alive on the African savanna. And that software has one directive written deeper than language or reason or conscious thought. Do not get rejected. Do not end up outside the circle, because outside the circle is death. Psychologist Mark Leary at Duke University calls this the Sociometer, the idea that your self-esteem is not a measure of how good you feel about yourself. It is a biological gauge constantly measuring your inclusion in the group around you. When it reads safe, you feel confident. When it reads danger, you spiral. You replay. You ask that question again. What is wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Your sociometer is doing its job in a world it was never built for. Here is the modern wound. The group your ancient brain is scanning for no longer exists. The 30 to 50 people who knew your whole story, who watched you grow, whose survival was tied to yours. That world is gone, and your brain is still looking for it, still scanning every room, every conversation, every silence for the signal it was built to find. Am I in or am I out? The U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic in 2023. Half of American adults feel lonely on a regular basis. Research confirms chronic loneliness carries the same mortality risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The most connected civilization in human history is producing the loneliest people our species has ever seen. And every single one of them is walking around carrying that question. What is wrong with me? When the answer has always been the same. Nothing. The world changed. Your biology did not. And you are living in the gap between them. But here is what your ancestors understood that we have almost completely lost. The most valued people in any ancient band were not the strongest or the most aggressive. Anthropologists studying the Hadza found the same pattern again and again. The people who held the group together were the ones who felt rejection most intensely and used that feeling most precisely. The ones who could sense a shift in mood before it became visible, who adjusted, who read the room, who came back after every failure and tried again. They did not spiral when rejected. They asked a different question, not what is wrong with me, but what does this group need that I have not been giving? And then they changed. And they survived. Therefore, here's what I need you to take with you. The pain you felt when that message never came, when you were left out, when you tried to belong and could not figure out why you kept falling short. That is not weakness. It is not evidence of something broken inside you. It is 300,000 years of survival engineering doing exactly what it was designed to do. The ones who felt nothing when rejected drifted from the group without noticing, and the dark took them. But the ones who felt it like a wound, who could not ignore it, who came back and adjusted and kept trying, those were the ones who made it, who had children, whose children had children, down through every generation, through every ice age and famine and lonely night, until one of them was you. Your sensitivity is not your weakness. It is your inheritance. It is the signature of every ancestor who ever stood at the edge of a fire, hoping the group would let them stay. You came from all of them. And that is exactly why it still hurts the way it does.